Hello and welcome to Pulse Check with Archer Nursing, where nursing comes to life. In this podcast, you give us 15 minutes of your day, and we'll take one complicated nursing topic and make it easy. Ready for nursing to be fun? I'm Morgan, and welcome back to Pulse Check, first episode of the year. New year means it's a new semester for all of us, and many of us are already feeling the pressure. If that is you, you are not alone. So we're going to kind of kick off the year here at Pulse Check, taking it easy. We're going to hit pause on the chaos and give your routine a clean slate. Now, you're not going to become a brand new person or student overnight. So, this episode is going to be all about what worked last semester, what did not, and helping you rebuild a weekly rhythm so it really supports the type of nursing student that you want to be. I have 3 things we're going to quickly break down in this episode. Phase 1, I'm labeling reflect. We're going to reflect so that we can actually recalibrate, figure out what worked, what didn't, and build our plan. That's phase 2, really designing what your ideal week is. And you're going to hear me say, if it's not scheduled, it's not real. Once we kind of design our ideal week, phase 3 is all about building systems so that we can just press repeat and really get in the groove this semester. All right, so let's dig into phase 1 here. Remember, I'm calling this reflect, and it's all about really figuring out what happened last semester, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so we can learn from it and recalibrate. Now, it is a new semester, but you have the same brain. You are the same person you were 2 months ago when you took your finals and exited the classroom. So we need to take an honest moment to just reflect on what happened. Again, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and figure out what we do want to carry into this semester and what we want to leave behind us. All right, both are acceptable. So do me a favor and grab a pen and pencil, pad of paper, the notes app in your phone, whatever. I have 3 questions that I want you to actually jot down the thoughts that come to your head. If you're driving, just say them out loud to yourself. Don't stop to write or type. The first question I want you to reflect on is just what worked last semester? Was there a class that went really well? A study spot where you just grooved? A morning routine where you're like, I'm nailing it? Maybe you were really accountable. Maybe you had a study buddy that you worked really well with. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just name one thing for me that went really well. All right, are you ready? Now, on the flip side, question number 2 is what absolutely did not work? Were you pulling all-nighters and then falling asleep in class? Saying yes to absolutely everything, even when you knew you didn't have time for it? Maybe you were spending a lot of time studying on your phone when you really were just scrolling on TikTok and you felt yourself kind of going down that doom spiral. Again, doesn't have to be a lot. Just call out one thing that you know didn't serve you last semester, okay? Say it out loud to yourself in your car, jot it down in your notes app, whatever worked for you. All right, are you ready for the last reflection? Last but not least, I want you to think about when you felt the most overwhelmed. Was it the day before a test and you hadn't had a plan in place? Was it the night before or the morning of going to your clinical rotations? Maybe it was one of your skills checkoffs. I struggled so much in the simulation lab. It was a very stressful environment for me, and hands down, that is when I felt the most overwhelmed, the morning of my skills checkoffs, okay? Whatever it is for you, think through the things that you did before, during, and after that, and why was that the area or the time that you felt the most overwhelmed? Once you've had a second to reflect on those 3 questions, and feel free to pause me here if you need more time, you're going to take everything that you just wrote down and sort it into 2 lists: your keep doing and your stop or change. Everything that served you goes under that keep doing list, and things that didn't, things that fell in that overwhelm category, are things we're going to stop. Because our mantra here is we're not repeating what doesn't work. The definition of insanity is just doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's not going to be us this semester. If it didn't work, if it's in that stop change column, we are going to put it to the side. We're going to leave it in last year, last semester. We're not going to pull that all-nighter. We're not going to say yes to every commitment. Maybe we're not going to study on our phone. Maybe our phone is only for when we're like scrolling on social media and stuff. We're not actually going to use it to study. Maybe you're fine studying on your phone. If that's in your keep doing column, great. Save that for later. We're going to come back to it in step 3. But remember, step 1 is just reflecting, pull those things out, and make your lists of what we do want to bring with us into this new semester and what we don't. Okay, are you ready to move into phase 2? This is where we are going to design our ideal week. And my mantra here is going to be, if it's not scheduled, it's not real. This is so true for me and my personal and professional life. If I do not have something on my calendar, it will not be happening. I will not be showing up. I will miss that meeting. I have got to have it written down. Really, for me, if something isn't scheduled, it's not real. It's not happening. So we have kind of 3 steps to how we're going to schedule out our week. And I'm going to use the analogy of rocks, pebbles, and sand going in a jar. There is a great YouTube video of this. I totally cannot take credit for the overall idea, but I'm going to kind of explain how I use it in life. Life is your jar, and we all have the same jar, okay? It's this size, but what we fill it up with is totally our choice. So you start off with your big rocks. And for me, these kind of fall into 2 categories. I've got my life rocks and then my school and professional life rocks. These are things that absolutely have to go in your jar. They are not negotiable. Things like, I've got to sleep. I've got to eat. I need mealtime and meal prep. For me, movement, even just 10 to 15 minutes of getting outside and walking around the block. What are your big life rocks that you literally cannot live without? Go ahead and schedule those. I know it might seem silly. I'm scheduling when I'm going to sleep, but remember, if it's not scheduled, it's not real. So get it on your calendar. And then put your school big rocks in. These are the times you're in class, the times you're in clinicables, your labs, your checkoffs, your work shifts, your commute, all of those things that simply are not negotiable, they are your big rocks. And when you move into the next step, you'll see that everything else has to fit around them. So that's why they go on the schedule first. You put your big rocks in the jar first. Then you move on to your pebbles. These are your non-negotiables. You're like, this really matters to me. This is going to help me achieve my goals. This is in line with my values. And you're going to pour those into the jar, and they'll fill up that room around the big rocks. So this is your study blocks, trying to schedule out shorter little focus times. Maybe it's an hour before class or an hour after class. You're like, this is a study block for me. Maybe this is going to be time to prepare for that checkoff, those ones that made me so nervous, or those clinical simulation days. Maybe this is going to be time to complete your assignments. You're going to get really, really specific with all those little pebbles that have to happen to move you to your big goals. And you pour those into your jar, you put them in your schedule next. The last thing you put into your schedule is the sand, because that's what's going to fill up all the rest of the space in your jar. And these are things that are negotiable. And if your pebbles are taking up too much room, you don't have to put all that sand in there. But we still want to make time for it in the schedule, because guess what? It's what fills you up. It matters to you. It keeps you motivated. It keeps you moving along. And again, if you don't schedule it, is not real, is not going to happen. So what is it for you? Is it getting your nails done? Going to a coffee shop, watching an episode of Netflix, going to dinner with friends, whatever that is, schedule it. Give yourself total permission to do those things that fill your cup. Just decide when you're going to do it and stick to it. If you get a dinner invite at the last minute and you already have a pebble scheduled in there because this is one of your study blocks, don't say yes to everything. The answer is no. Hey, this doesn't fit into my schedule. My glass is already full, but I have time scheduled tomorrow. I'm going to be able to pour some sand into that jar and I'm going to stick to that. You're going to honor those commitments. So schedule it, give yourself permission, just decide when you're doing it. And this is really going to help you with the third and final phase here, which is building systems. Okay, because routine trumps motivation every time. It is really easy in nursing school to get demotivated. Okay, we've got a lot of balls in the air. We're juggling a ton of responsibilities and it's hard. All right, anyone who tells you nursing school is easy is lying to your face. Don't believe them. It is super hard. We all need support, and those systems can be a huge support to us. So what I want you to do after you've reflected, you've decided what works, that was phase one. You've pulled that into your schedule, starting with your big rocks all the way up to your sand, so that you've really scheduled out your day. Now you're going to build that into a repeatable system that you can put on autopilot. Okay. So in those focused study blocks, what exactly is happening? What are you going to do? You need to pick 2 to 3 active learning habits for each of your classes, each of the things you need to accomplish this year, and set up a system. So I think it's best to just give you an example. This is what I personally did. I took notes during my lecture. And then when I got back in my 1-hour focused study block, I reviewed those notes and I made flashcards. I did this by hand because for me, physically writing on the note card translated to much better retention. Okay. Then I did 10 to 20 practice questions and I pulled out the questions I got wrong so I could immediately remediate those concepts. I tell students time and time again, you could buy every Q bank in the world and do 10,000 practice questions, but if you don't remediate the ones that you got wrong, you're not actually learning anything from it. So by incorporating these active learning strategies, I was immediately reviewing what I had learned, putting pen to paper to help myself remember it, and then checking my knowledge and reviewing what I didn't get right. So when I built my schedule, I put my big rocks, classes here, clinicals here, I'm sleeping here. I put my little pebbles, I've got my study block here. I then knew exactly what I was doing in that study block because I built a system. Read notes, make flashcards, take practice questions. And it is really important that that system you put in place involves active learning. You cannot just sit there and listen to your lecture again. Listening through podcasts and learning via video lectures is fantastic, but it does not count as an active learning activity. You have to actually get involved with the material as part of your system to move it into your long-term memory so that come test day, you are ready for it. All right. Now, you can also use these active learning activities in your everyday life. So maybe flashcards is when you're riding the bus to school or walking on a treadmill. Maybe you do practice questions in scheduled blocks, like 3 to 4 times a week. Maybe you have a group study session that is structured. You've got an agenda, you've got somebody leading it, you're writing on the whiteboard, you're talking it out with your peers. There are so many options, and I really encourage you to try all the options. Make sure that what's working for you is what you're doing. Going back to phase one, reflect on what went well last semester. And if the group study session just always got derailed, don't go back to that group study session. Try the flashcards, try the practice questions, try something else. But once you've figured out that secret sauce of what works for you, the goal is that in those little pebbles of study blocks, you're not asking yourself, what do I study today? What do I do? You're not wasting brain power figuring it out. You have built a system that works for you and you stick to it. So those are my 3 phases for you of how you can very simply reset to get ready for this upcoming semester. Remember, The past is in the past. Whatever happened last semester, you are not destined to repeat unless you want to. So, step one, reflect on what went well and what didn't. Make those lists, and things that didn't serve you, let's just leave them in 2025. Move on ahead. It's 2026 now. Let's go do it. Go ahead and design your ideal week with this in mind. Put your big rocks onto that calendar, your pebbles with your study blocks around it. And remember, there is always time to fill your cup. Pour that sand into the jar, get dinner with friends, get your nails done. Just schedule it and stick to it. If it's not scheduled, it's not happening. So put it on the calendar if it matters to you. And when you're in those focused study blocks, rely on systems that are going to set you up for success. Remember, for me, this was read my notes, do flashcards, do practice questions. Be active with your learning, but don't waste your brain power trying to figure out, what do I study? How do I even study this today? Set up a system that you can rinse and repeat and that you know will set you up for success. So I'll end here by just reiterating what we said at the beginning. If you feel overwhelmed, I would dare say not only are you not alone, but you're in the majority. This is a very overwhelming time of year, especially for us who might be going into our last semester of nursing school. This is a big deal. Any semester that you're going into, let's be honest, you're getting all these syllabi. It is just a massive time of change and easy to get overwhelmed. When that happens to you, take a deep breath and go through these steps. Archer Nursing is here with you every step of the way. Please come back every week to continue this journey along with us. Remember that we have so many resources available for you and that we are here to walk this journey with you because it is not easy, but it is worth it. It's the most worth it thing you're ever going to do. And it is hard, but you have got this. So best of luck, and we'll see you back here next week. All right, future nurses, that is a wrap. If you found this pod helpful, I'd love to continue supporting your nursing journey through nursing school, the NCLEX, continuing ed, and beyond. Archer Nursing has you covered with on-demand video lectures, high-yield question banks, live case study reviews, and so much more. We want to help you master tough concepts and make it fun. So join us over at archerreview.com. Follow us on socials at Archer Nursing for more free nursing tips and study resources. Thanks for tuning in to Pulse Check with Archer Nursing. I'm Dr. Morgan Taylor, and I'll see you back next time.